Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to those of you around the world. Welcome to the daily Trade the Chain crypto update, where we give you everything you need to know for the next 24 hours and hopefully the next few days. Today is Tuesday, April 4th, and we are coming at you one day into the new quarter and the new month. Prices came slightly off of their highs overnight. I guess for equities, crypto pumped overnight. The dollar has dropped further, and we continue to kind of look at what appears to be bullish market structure, but crypto has struggled to break its highs, although ETH did break its recent highs yesterday. So let's go ahead and dive in, see what's happening, see what we predict moving forward in the future. So the dollar finally broke through the 102 level. So that was something we've been watching for quite a long time. We did mention that was likely our bias, but we knew the 102 level was going to be an area for potential reversal, and then ended up breaking down. And I'm expecting this to likely, this is the support level based on, previous trading back in May of 2022. But we obviously have the low down here of about 100.8, 100.8 on the dot. So start to think about a reversal around 101. And we could get a sweep all the way down here of the 100.8 level. And of course, if you break through that, then you've got, I would say, room to drop all the way down to 99. And if it drops to 99, I would expect, equities and crypto to be definitely above their recent highs, at least the local highs, whether or not we're not talking about 2022 highs or anything like that. But I do think that if you're breaking down below 101, equities and crypto are having a good time. And if we think about why the dollar is getting hit, well, there's like the de-dollarization conversation going on. Alex and I, and we talked about this last week and kind of mentioned it on the show yesterday as well. But more countries seem to be banning more, let's call them non-EU, non-G7, non-UN countries are banding together, and some countries in the G7 and UN are working with these UN and G7 countries for oil trade and for global commerce, and they're trading in their local currencies, which is decreasing dependence on the dollar, activity on the dollar, and need for the dollar. So to me, it makes sense that you're seeing a decrease in the dollar due to what's going on. How far that goes, that much I'm not certain, but if we continue to see news about Saudi Arabia saying he doesn't care what Biden thinks about him, if we see more countries start to, trade in local currencies together, outside of the US's kind of control, then I have a feeling the dollar is going to take more of a hit, which would likely be good for risk assets. So that's the thesis there. So looking at equities, we can see, we're staring at the 1 hour here. There we go, catch up. There you go, data. So overnight, we tagged the 4140 level. I had resistance up here at 4145. So we didn't tag that exactly, but pretty darn close. And obviously we typically short resistance, and then usually first tap there is generally a rejection. We're now below the weekly VWAP, but we did sweep the lows of Monday. So that's a significant play if you are long. So this is typically where you would start to get long if you were to make a play, and we've got a lot of buy volume coming in with potential swing failure pattern below Monday's highs. So, what we had predicted earlier was if you can, stay above the previous daily close, then you obviously had a precipice to move higher. And if you move higher, you either break up or you reject. Or, we said if you can start to, if you break below previous daily close, then you're kind of coming down here. And that's exactly what happened. So we had the 4060 support level for the GTC community. Obviously it's swept the lows and it's holding here. So this is where you would start to ladder in if you are continually long. Else you would be patient and you would wait for, why is this popping up? Else you would be patient and wait for a tap at 4060. So where we are currently, considering we already had that sweep, what you look for is something like this, where it comes up like that, above the VWAP, above the previous daily close, and then you're back at the highs. Or if you fail here, maybe you get up to, let's actually delete this one too. Maybe you fail at the VWAP, so you get up here, but then you get rejected, and then you would be back down here. So I would definitely expect this to probably try and make a play up to, maybe 4108, 4109, maybe 4107. And then you either have acceptance or rejection there. Maybe this is where you close long at a short. Maybe this is, if you get above the VWAP, you double down on your long, take that up to 41.20 or higher. And of course, in my opinion, if equities are holding, their lows of the week and end up moving higher, even though I've been saying this time and time again, I do expect crypto to move higher, whether that's to the top of the range or breaking the range. I'm not sure. We'll go over that, but I would expect crypto to move higher from current prices if equities hold this level and move higher from here. So two routes on equities: make it up to the VWAP, rejected; make it up to the VWAP, accept; move back to the top of the range. So for Bitcoin, very similar. If we held the prices, or I think my number was 28.2, just because it's a big psychological number. So we obviously lost that. First catch area was obviously the 28K on the dot, which is where we are catching now. Said if we broke through 28K, obviously headed back to recent lows from Sunday, possibly Monday. We have not gone there yet, and we are, of course, holding at 28K. So, and just so everyone's aware, we did tell the TTC community that we expected some bearish volatility after a boost into the open. That typically happens if you're seeing buying into the US Open. Typically that will sell off until midday or end of day. And now we're midday. We're about 1 p.m. or close to 1 p.m. Eastern. It's lunchtime. We had the early selling come off. Now this is when we would expect a reversal in trend or a continuation of momentum. Right now it looks like we're trying to reverse. If you close above the 28.2 level, I have a feeling this thing is definitely headed up to 28.6. It's a very strong recovery. Nice little tweezer bottom on the VWAP. You guys know this is something that I like to long. I'm actually long right now. Actually, while we're talking right now, I'm literally going to add to my longs because I love this acceptance right here. So I am now further long Bitcoin after a VWAP, acceptance. We're on top of the estimated 200 moving average. We're on top of the VWAP. I like this. So currently, I think that this is a good long, and your RSI trend is looking pretty good here. If we actually continue higher from this area, that's obviously the exacerbation of the trend, and you've got RSI resistance here. So if we look at this as kind of an ascending triangle, maybe we pop up here, we pop back down, and then we move higher. So then price is doing something like this, moves up here, maybe comes back down here, and then something like that. So that's exactly what we'd like to see from Bitcoin, considering it seems to be holding support at the VWAP. So that's what I'm looking at right now. As long as equities can hold this level, I like Bitcoin holding above the VWAP. Looking at ETH, clearly a much stronger move than yesterday. And just so you know, these are the lines that I had drawn for the TTC community. Said if we could hold above, 1870, then move higher. Below 1870, we move lower. We obviously got down to 1850. My support was around 1845. So we're still holding this level. I'll go ahead and zoom in just because the trading's really tight. So, we're well above the VWAP. We're well above resistance. Equities are trying to hold. So moral of the story here is, and I guess, the easiest way to do this would be just kind of draw this trend. And so actually we can probably draw this a little bit more specifically. So we're above that trend right here. So ETH will either, hold this level and then move higher. Actually, let me get rid of all of these squiggles so that we're very clear with what I'm expecting for price action now that we've had several hours of trading after I gave the TTC community that update. So you either bounce here and then head up like that, or you just kind of ride this line down back to supports and for, bounce there, or you deviate back down and you head towards the estimated 200 moving average, and which coincides with the VWAP as well. So that would be about 1820 if we were to break through 1845. Obviously, I'm not saying we're going to break there, but I'm saying this is how you look at the trade. So I wouldn't expect anyone to really start getting long right here with the way that this looks. But if you are long, basically you want to see better than 1854, you want to see 1860 hold. If 1860 is lost, I would bet you're probably going down to 1845. If you hold 1860, you're probably moving back up to the recent highs. And then you also have to consider that this could just be a range. And so I'll go ahead and remove this. And you can just imagine here, move down, move up. There's your range. Maybe you deviate under, maybe you deviate over, but this is obviously now the range. So trade the range until proven otherwise, until momentum shifts. And obviously, if Bitcoin starts chugging higher, if equities, recover well, then I would expect Ethereum to be doing similar. I'll bet maybe with a quick tap at 1860 again. So that's really the outlook for ETH. And obviously, like I said, you drop below 1845, then this is basically just one giant deviation. And then you're trading back in the range, which is not good for anybody. It would pretty much take another couple of days of trading of price action for this to then try and get back above 1845 if it confirmed back under. So we definitely do not want to see that, but of course it is a possibility that everyone should be aware of. So trying to think if there's anything else major going on right now. Just to quickly go over the data, US unemployment report is, very core piece of data coming Friday. If the unemployment report comes in lower than expected and unemployment rate comes in higher than expected, I would expect bullishness from the markets. We're going to get a lot of preliminary data in relation to jobs. We have ADP employment tomorrow. We have jobless claims Thursday, and we had JOLTS, which are job openings today. So job openings actually came in 600,000 less than expected. It was expected to decrease 100,000 from the previous month to this month. It actually came in at 9.9 million. So pretty solid drop. And that's definitely what the Fed wants to see. It definitely caused some volatility early this morning. So the interesting thing about job openings is it's two-pronged. Less job openings mean economy is slowing down, which means possible recession, but less job openings mean that inflation is likely being handled better or at expectations. Therefore, the Fed would ease up on their route, which could be bullish. So you're going to see a lot of volatility around these numbers. Obviously, preliminarily, it does look like unemployment will come in lower than expected. Unemployment rate will come in higher, employment will come in lower based on the job openings. Because if there's less job openings and there's more layoffs, that's higher unemployment. That's just quick math there. So that's what we'll be looking for. We'll get the ADP employment number early tomorrow. Would expect some more volatility out of that, maybe immediate bearish volatility like we saw, and then the market continues the momentum higher because, again, recession on one end, inflation getting beaten on the other end, which will then get us out of a recession maybe. So, there's two sides of the coin on that one, but that's the best way to look at it in my opinion. So fingers crossed, equities, hold this sweep. I definitely think we could see another tweezer down here. So this is not an immediate trade for me, but it's definitely something to monitor if it holds. I do like Bitcoin's bounce off of the weekly VWAP. We could certainly see, it move a little bit lower, but I'm gonna hold this trade with a stop underneath 2,800. So probably around 27.9 is where I'll hold this stop, which is just below the low for today. And then if the VWAP holds, then we move back to recent highs, which is 28.5, potentially higher. And then if I lose, then I get cut about $150 lower, and that'll be a cut. That'll be a stop loss, but it'll be better than losing all my money. And I think the opportunity is pretty good for a return back to the highs. So not saying you should follow that. I kind of took a random trade on the show just because I liked the way that it looked. But I think I might have been a little bit early on this one, and I think you could probably wait for this candle to close and see how the next candle comes in before longing, because obviously we're not seeing an immediate reaction, although we are seeing a decent reaction to the VWAP. And of course, this is what I'm playing here, is this kind of this RSI trend. If we break above the 60 RSI, I think we're looking pretty good. So that's kind of the bet right now. We'll see how it plays out. So good luck, happy trading. And again, if you're not in the TTC community, every single morning, DXY, equities, Bitcoin, ETH, we call out trades. I give, although you see multiple trade ideas, I give my bias to what I believe is going to happen. I told the Trade the Chain community this morning, we would see bearish volatility into the day because of the bullish price action overnight. So that's exactly what happened. If you were short from the morning, you're looking good. Maybe you close your shorts, maybe you compound here and fade me. But either way, from your very early morning session to now, you would be in profit having listened to our trade ideas. And of course, I'm giving you many different routes so that you can make your decision. But I always give my bias on where I think momentum is going to head. These are actionable trade ideas every day. If you're not in the Trade the Chain community, every single day, you're missing out on actionable trade opportunities. So good luck. Happy trading. Hopefully see everybody in the community.